Welcome to Next Level Play, a podcast guaranteed to grind some gears as we talk about controversial topics.
Yep, we're gonna make some very bold predictions
Yes.
on this podcast.
Have some hot debates. We've definitely gotten a little bit heated.
Yeah,
on
have
each other.
some hot and spicy guests who have super great insider knowledge into the gaming world, the esports world. What else do we do?
We have a very special guest today.
That's
In
true.
particular, you're talking about hot and spicy. 'Cause
That's
those are
true.
flavor profiles because
We have George Motz, who is
cooks, yes.
This is so good. What a good pun,
Right?
Marcus. George Motz will be joining us later. He is a chef, a historian, an author,
father.
a father. So stick around. That's gonna be
Foreshadowing.
amazing.
That's right, Sydney, because the future of esports and gaming is right here.
Right now,
Next Level Play. How are you today, Sydney?
I'm good. I'm having my coffee.
Starting with the hard-hitting questions, of course.
Yeah, of course. How are you? It's the hardest question that anyone can ask me. No, I'm doing well. I'm very excited today for our guest. We mentioned it in the opening, George Motz. He's a chef, and I was really hoping we were gonna do like a full cooking segment, like But then on the way here, I was like, we don't have a kitchen. We don't have a way to cook
A lot of flammable things
burgers
surrounding us right now.
We're in a box with no windows. But I am really excited for that and to talk about some video game stuff, obviously.
Hell yeah. Hotbox burger environment actually sounds pretty great.
Going
to me.
home. I mean, we're basically working at a fast food joint then.
Hell yeah.
Just going home.
I did that for 3 summers.
Reeking of burger. Where'd you work?
McDonald's.
Oh, we gotta talk to George about that.
Oh, sure.
I feel
Yeah.
like he would have some things to say.
It wasn't my first job, but it was a job.
What was also? How are you? I didn't even
I'm
ask.
good. I wanted to say that too. I think that is the question that is lied in the response. The most dishonest answer of any question you can possibly ask. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause in
Yeah.
professional settings, people are always like, "How are you?" And you
I
kind of
know.
have to lie because you can't show up to work every day and be like, "I hate myself." You can't be that honest. You'll get fired. So
I saw somebody on Twitter recently was like they had to have a meeting with their whatever like HR boss or something because their boss asked them like, "How are you?" and their response was, "Well, I'm here, aren't I?"
Yeah,
They
exactly.
were like, "Do we need to have an intervention?" But I agree. But
Which
I
is
also
bullshit. So people should stop just asking how people are.
I think it's
just
a
say good day like a German.
good. Well, I was gonna say I think it's a cultural thing too. In
Yeah.
America, we're like, I don't know, it's rude if you don't ask someone, but then
Right.
we all lie anyway.
It's rude if you harp about your bullshit
Your
problems.
actual feelings.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's be honest. You asked me how I'm feeling today. I'm a little tired.
Okay.
I've been working a lot.
Sure.
Can't complain because
Yeah.
I love to be working. Happy to do it. But it was a struggle to wake up this morning, and I got here and stuffed my face with a delicious burrito that
Love
Wendy
that.
and Chase got us. And now I'm feeling a bit more, awake.
Okay.
And how are you? And be honest.
I'm pretty good actually. I slept 9 hours.
Oh my God, brag.
more than my usual 4, and that's not an exaggeration.
Wow.
I did go on a bit of a bender the last few days. I was at a casino. I only lost like $300, which isn't bad.
Okay.
Wait.
How much? You lost 300. Where'd you start?
No, like I was down
Oh, okay,
overall.
okay.
Yeah. After the first day, I was down like 390. So I actually won last. Anyway, regardless.
That's gambler talk.
I was drinking a lot. So
Yeah.
like I'm a bit hungover,
Yeah.
but I slept more than I have in like a year. So
It balances out.
feeling good. Feeling good.
Have you?
My Adderall's kicking in. That feels great. I'm loving that. Plus, I have coffee, and I get to do a podcast for the next few hours.
And we get to hang out and talk about our favorite thing, video games.
Yes.
I was
What
gonna
an intro
say-
that was.
I know, right? We're getting real. I was gonna say though, have you been playing? I know you've been busy. Have you been playing anything?
It's the same response I've made for the last like how long? I've been obsessed with Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah.
I know I'm 5 years late to the game. I just beat the Lich, and I beat it with a few characters. So I just have to beat the Resourceful Rat and the Glitch Lich and get the Gunslinger,
Glitch
which
Lich.
I've gotten to a few times now. With anyway, it's a whole thing. I'll be done. Next time you talk to me, I'll be playing something different.
Okay, I believe you.
What else am I playing? Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, right.
Still, it's a process.
Did you get past the wolves?
Yes, I got
Okay.
past the wolves.
He was so mad. Marcus was so mad. He was like, "This tutorial is taking forever." And I'm like, "I know. Just get past the wolves, get past the snowy mountain, and then you're actually gonna have fun."
When you have a game that's the biggest, greatest open world potentially of all time, and I can't access that open world, it just feels like a little tease.
They have to teach you how to play
Sydney.
the game.
No, they don't. I've played Grand Theft Auto and I've played Red Dead Redemption 1. I know how to play the game. We all knew how to play the game, Sydney.
Wait, I want to tell you what I'm playing.
I'm so sorry. You're so right. What are you playing?
So, I've been as you know, I love horror games.
Mhm.
And I am currently working on, bear with me, building a new PC tower rig.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
So I got some new stuff because I want to stream in VR.
Mhm.
I have been playing a game, everybody knows it by now, Phasmophobia. Came out in 2020. It won a ton of like best game awards.
Sure.
It's still in beta. I don't think they're ever going to finish this game, but it exists and they still make updates to it and stuff, and it's fun. It's like third person, unless you play in VR, and you're ghost hunters who are basically called to different sites to figure out the type of ghost that is haunting it. There's all different kinds. You have like a journal, and basically you do all these different ghost hunting tests to
Hell
determine
yeah.
the type of ghost. But of course,
Yeah.
the ghosts kill you. Like you have to avoid these
Cool.
ghosts.
It's kind of like Fatal Frame.
It's really, it's meant to be spooky. Like you're
Yeah.
meant to be in the dark and you have a flashlight and it's
Mhm.
kind of stressful, but you play with other people. My favorite kind of game. So I set up my VR rig because I have a VR headset, and my PC was chugging. It was chugging, and it can't handle it. It just can't handle the like streaming in VR. So I was like, damn, I think I'm gonna have to like up my steez and build a better specific PC rig for just running VR stuff. I'm in deep,
Is that
dude.
that's what I was going to ask. That's got to be frustrating because I feel like you've already invested so much into this rig and now you just have to update it again.
It's frustrating, but honestly, at this point, my rig is I sound like a trucker. I'm like my rig, my baby. My rig at this point, I got it in early 2020, so it's like it's getting a little old. The parts by now, people who have PCs, they swap their shit. I mean, they up their stuff.
I've heard the argument though that a good piece, well, granted, I mean that's probably like state of the art, thousands and thousands, can last like 10 years. But yeah, I mean, obviously you need to upgrade
Nothing's
it
wrong
a little
with mine.
bit.
Yeah, like it's not like mine's broken.
Yeah.
It's just I need a faster processor and I need like a better video graphics card.
Sure.
So those are really the two things. I probably could just swap them in mine, but I'm sort of upping the whole thing. So anyway, any tips? Let me know.
I have actually, because I feel like I've given the same answers. I do have more games I'm actually playing.
Oh yeah.
Metroid Zero Mission, the only Metroid game I had never played of all of them. I'm talking Metroid Pinball I've played,
Oh, wow.
Federation Force, but never played Zero Mission. Like I just never got on the Game Boy Advance.
How is it?
It's amazing so far. I know it's like a 10-hour, 15-hour experience. I'm kind of savoring it. I'll probably be done by tomorrow. But also, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Wow, throwback.
For the first, my girlfriend's never seen it or played it, so we're playing for the first time.
I gotta tell you, you'd be so proud of me. So I, aside from this podcast that I do, I'm on a podcast network called The Glass Cannon, and it's all TTRPGs. I've talked about it. I was on tour recently, and a super lovely fan gave me an emulator, like on-the-go portable player. It kind of looks like a shorter Game Boy Color Advance. But it's an emulator for like Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, NES, PlayStation 1.
Oh, wow.
Like all the
PS1
Nintendo.
on the handheld?
Yeah.
On one of those like knockoff?
It's not good. I tried to play I tried to play Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and like you need a Joy-Con. Like this is just a D-pad. But man, you'd be so proud. I was going through, they've got like the Metroid games, Castlevania, like I got to ask you what I should start with.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
like Final Fantasy. I was.
Oh my gosh.
I was overwhelmed. I was just like,
Yes.
dude, this is so nice.
I'm your guy.
I can't accept this, but he was really, really sweet, and I was
Yeah.
like, hell yeah, I'm about to get into these old games. So we'll talk
We
about
have something
that.
to talk about.
Talk
for
about that
sure.
off air.
Yeah. Well, we could talk. Oh, I mean, there's something kind of relevant with that. With Nintendo
Oh,
Direct.
do you want to talk? Marcus
Is that how we want to start?
Marcus is really excited about.
We can start with
Nintendo
that.
Direct.
Well, okay. My favorite thing about the Nintendo Direct, you guys know I'm pretty old school. So, like
You're
I
just
was
gonna
saying,
say I'm pretty old.
that I mean, relatively speaking, yes. But that being said, I'm very lame. I get it. I'm an 80-year-old man. But my favorite part of any Nintendo Direct is always the new Nintendo Switch Online games that they add, because they're classic games. And they added Metroid Zero Mission, which I was pumped about. They finally released M-rated games on Nintendo 64.
They're so brave.
Which is awesome. Yes, they did the original Turok.
Okay.
Which they actually did in Japan earlier, because GoldenEye in
Are these
Japan
M-rated
is M.
because you're shooting guns?
Turok's pretty violent.
Okay.
Turok's pretty violent. Perfect Dark. That's the other game I'm also playing right now. I've never done a perfect run. I haven't beaten it on hard mode.
Okay.
GoldenEye, I've beaten 00 Agent mode several times, but I never had Perfect Dark as a kid. I just
Gotcha.
was only able to borrow it, so I never played hard mode and unlocked everything and done the speedrunning challenges. So they're adding all of these retro classic games that I just absolutely adore. They added the Mega Man Game Boy games, 1 through 5, just like dropped all of them,
Oh, yeah.
which are different than the... Anyway, that wasn't Nintendo Direct. I think there's 2 or 3 really big announcements that
Okay, can I guess?
Nintendo Direct, yes.
Because I didn't watch
Okay.
anything.
Yeah.
Okay. My first guess is, I'm so nervous. The Switch 2 will be coming out in 2025.
The Switch 2 is not announced.
Okay. My next guess is Pikachu gets married. It's a new game where Pikachu gets married and you get to dress him up and do the nuptials, write the vows. Ash is there.
Uh-huh.
Mindy, best man. Brock is the ring bearer.
Is it also a dating simulator?
Yep.
Like, so you can see who Pikachu has the most spark with.
Yes. And I think we'll do it on the count of 3, who we think it's going to be.
Oh, it's going to be like a different Pokemon. He's not going to... It's going to be a cross-species type thing? Do
Yeah,
Pokemon do that? I don't think Pokemon do that.
That's fucked
I
up.
think Pokemon...
Pretend it's cross-species, and we'll say who we think the best match is.
Okay.
I think we know.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
Eevee.
Eevee.
Yeah.
Yes!
Well, that's
Oh my
obvious.
god.
I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
But I don't want...
Obvious.
They're too cute, though. It's like I want to watch them hold hands and
Okay,
like...
so it's Raichu. Is it like the older
no,
version?
that feels weird.
Okay, so we go back.
We're thinking about... I don't know.
Don't.
If they're getting married, though, they have to...
It's just about marriage. It's Nintendo. It's not a rated M game, Marcus. Don't.
But, like, marriage implies...
No. They have babies and you don't think about it. You don't even know where they come from. They're married and they suddenly have babies. It's a children's game, Marcus. Jesus, get your head out of the gutter.
I'm not... It's just like, listen, the consummation of a marriage is a beautiful thing, Sydney.
All right, so it's not Pikachu gets married?
It's not. It's not.
Do you want to just tell me what they are?
Oh, yes. One is the minor one. There's a new Mario and Luigi RPG.
What? Oh.
Which a lot of people are very, very, very excited about.
Wait, is it a new Mario and
Brand new.
Luigi RPG?
Brand new
Is it
Mario and Luigi. You know, like...
Based off of the old RPG game?
Yes, it's
Oh,
the
okay.
same series, that started out on the Game Boy Advance, actually.
Oh, wow.
Superstar Saga, and then Partner in Time. That's the evolution of Mario RPGs, right? You had Super Mario RPG, which was just re-released to pretty good success. Then they did Paper Mario, obviously.
Right, which was huge success.
Brilliant. Paper Mario original, amazing. Thousand Year Door, even better, which they also just re-released on the Switch.
Nintendo's on a tear.
Exactly.
I feel like they're really pumping them out.
So then Paper Mario obviously did a bit of a diversion with the Paper Mario on the Wii and then Sticker Star and all that bullshit. People hated it, but it's because they had the Mario and Luigi series, which was kind of the next level of Mario RPGs. And now it's back and it looks great. It looks charming. I was never a big Mario and Luigi guy. I'm actually in the middle of a run of Superstar Saga. It's great. It's nice, but it's a series I never really got into. People are really pumped for it. People are really pumped. Next is Metroid Prime 4.
Oh.
Finally. And we've been waiting so long.
Yeah.
So long.
How long, actually?
Well, Metroid Prime 3 came out in 2007, I believe.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, 7 or 8. I'm pretty sure 7. I remember when it came out, and I loved it. And now we're at those games where, like, I remember people talking about, Duke Nukem Forever, and I've waited 20 years and being like, oh, these are some old boomers that like were waiting for, and now I'm like, oh shit, I'm the one that has been waiting 16 years for a fucking sequel, and I remember playing the original when it came out.
Did they have like a trailer or?
It looks great. It looks great.
How does it look?
I mean, it looks like a Metroid Prime game. Obviously, it's a little sharper. The mechanics of the first-person shooting looks nice.
Is it
the
side
worlds
scroll
look amazing,
or like?
No, so that's the thing with Metroid Prime. It's obviously classic Metroid. It's Metroidvania, 2D type of situation, even Metroid Dread. But Metroid Prime is taking that and turning it in first person.
Oh.
But it's not quite a first person shooter, as Miyamoto first described it when Metroid Prime was coming out in 2002.
Okay.
It's a first person adventure, which is very true. And yeah, you explore and you're Samus and you jump around and you...
Okay.
And you can go into a ball. When you go into a ball, the camera zooms out.
Okay.
Because I just get dizzy.
Whoa.
It looks amazing. They have throwbacks from like Metroid Prime Hunters and all the lore of Metroid Prime. And
cool.
Yeah, I don't care that much about the story of Metroid Prime personally. I think it's solid.
She
but
came in a meteor. It's important.
I think the plot of the mainline Metroid games are more interesting than Metroid Prime, but
okay.
Yeah,
But you're excited for the game.
of course. I care about the game.
Do they have a release date?
I believe it said 2026. Let me double check on that.
Dang.
But at least there's a day. And because remember what happened with Metroid Prime 4 originally? There was a whole nother developer that was going to make it, and then they scrapped it. And Nintendo basically came on in one of their directions and was like, hey, so we're sorry. We're starting over, and we're giving it back to the original developers of the original Metroid Prime.
I remember.
So be patient. But it is coming. That was like 5 years ago.
This kind of, we can come back to Nintendo Direct stuff if you have more you want to talk about. But this kind of you want to say something?
2025. I was mistaken. Not 26. 25. Yeah.
But still, this makes me think, and we talk about this a lot. Sometimes, game studios announce games so early, like 2 years, 3 years. They kind of it feels like they kind of just throw a date out there, and they're like, we're hoping to have the game done by then.
Right.
Like, we're not really sure. How do you feel about that? Does it get you excited, or does it? Because my reaction, 2025 is a little bit better. When you said 2026, I'm like, why even bring it up? Like, it's clearly not there yet. I'm shocked they have a trailer, and it's a 2026 release. Like, normally it'd be some screenshots or something. Right. So I don't know.
And I think they're being a little more cautious with it for that reason. Obviously, they got burned with Metroid Prime 4, and I mean, it's more interesting and it creates more excitement, and I think it's smart marketing, and it's better than a press release that's just like, hey, by the way, that was the thing back in the 90s. You'd have to look in a magazine and be like, oh, they're making a new Zelda and it's going to be 3D. It's not like there was this big, Ocarina of Time is coming in 3 years. Get ready for it.
You read a magazine, they're like, we'll talk about this again in 3 years.
Yeah.
See you then.
And if you look at the E3 footage, the original footage of, say, Ocarina of Time, it looks totally different. Totally different.
And maybe Metroid will too. I mean...
No, because I think they've learned their lesson. Because then, for example, when we entered the more informational age with the internet, and with access to the internet, and game news became an industry in and of itself, the problem was with when the GameCube had its big kind of announcement with a bunch of teaser trailers at E3, I believe. It might have been Space World. They had one for the new Zelda, and it looked like Ocarina of Time, just with way better graphics, super dark. You got adult Link, and he's like, and you got Ganondorf, and he's like, meh.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh my God, this is gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah. And do Zelda. And what is Zelda like?
Oh, Link, please save me.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so a year later, they announce, bless you. So a year later, or maybe 2 years later, what comes out? Wind Waker. And people are pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Wind Waker now is one of the greatest Zelda games ever, and I think is better regarded than Twilight Princess by many. But people wanted this dark, gritty Zelda, and they got Wind Waker, and that hype ended up being a negative for them. And it's like with Alien 3, there was this teaser trailer that came out in the early 90s that was like, it showed an egg in front of Earth. And it was like, this time, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah.
On Earth, everyone can. Alien 3 takes place on like a prison colony on a foreign planet and has absolutely nothing to do with Earth.
Yeah.
So sometimes you get ahead of yourself and it ends up being a bad look that you can't get away with now that you could in the early 90s.
I think it's interesting. There's definitely something, and I agree, especially for like independent studios and the indie game market, you have to constantly be releasing information for the people who are invested, literally your investors, if you do, Kickstarter type stuff, but also for publications, you need to say, hi, we're still here. Like, we're still working on something. Here's some more information. Here's a character design, et cetera, et cetera. It just, to me, it's comical when it's like Nintendo doing it. Cause I'm like, we're all paying attention to you. Yeah. Like, you don't have to wave it in our face 2 years early. Like, we know we're going to buy it. But I agree. I think in the day and age now, leaving your like little press paper trail is, people love that. People love to like look back and be like, oh my God. And they talked about it in 2017 and like, here we are now. Yeah. But I do think, there's also, everyone's such a sleuth online these days too. And wasn't there that whole controversy with, was it Silent Hill? Where they thought that they were making like a Silent Hill game, this other independent studio, because they were releasing all this stuff that was like really cryptic, and like they were like, oh shit, guys, this is it. Like, I can't wait. And then it was unrelated, like completely unrelated. And all the people on Reddit were like, fuck.
Well, that might have just been genius marketing on this unrelated games. You know,
Maybe.
That's some playing chess.
They were like checking out the names of like the main CEO of the company, and they were like, if you rearrange the letters, and I'm just like, guys, this is not the guy.
Yeah.
This is not related at all.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, I think you're right. I think it's probably good. Nobody gets hurt when they make an announcement.
Well, and I think Nintendo's been much more cautious than others. I mean, we finally got our GTA 6 trailer, and like it didn't show much, and that's still, you know, a couple years away.
We're eating it up. Yum, 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 yum.
But say with the Switch, I remember that was announced, what, like 4 or 5 months before the Switch actually came out? It was like November, December of 2016, and then it was March 2017 it was released.
Is that when E3 was? Like, didn't they? No, it wasn't.
It was a Nintendo Direct, and it was just like, here's the Switch, and it's going to be out in just a few months, and the hype.
But you know why at that time?
Flooding in.
Holidays.
But that was the thing. I guess
it was the perfect time for people to pre-order.
That's
and
true.
Then I wonder.
They probably wanted to do a holiday launch and got delayed a couple months. And they were smart to not actually announce their launch until they were ready and knew their date.
Yeah.
Which Nintendo, it's just a little more...
Hardware is different too.
Smart,
you know, when you're putting out like a literal console. What was the next game you were going to talk about?
Do you have any guesses?
Let me think. So we discussed Mario already.
Mm-hmm.
And
think of the other big Nintendo franchise.
I already asked about Pikachu getting married, so it probably can't be that.
We talked about it.
We talked about it?
Today, yeah.
We talked about it today?
Yeah.
When?
It's one of the games I'm playing.
Oh, Sydney, think back to 10 minutes ago.
It's also on our list.
What? I'm so nervous now. Wait, what? What is it?
I'm just gonna let you sit in this.
It's are we playing Ocarina of Time?
Yeah.
Wait.
What franchise is that part of?
It's Zelda.
Yeah.
But what's the new?
There's a new Zelda game coming out.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
A post Tears of the Kingdom already?
Uh-huh.
Is it gonna be big?
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. Okay. It's not going to be the same style as a Breath of the Wild open world, high graphics.
Yeah, beautiful.
I mean, it's still going to be beautiful.
Let me guess. We're going back to Toon Link.
Not quite.
Okay.
I mean, yes, but no.
What is it?
Adjacent. It's going to be the first true Legend of Zelda game where you play as Zelda. It's going to be a Zelda featured Zelda game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So similar graphic style to the Link's Awakening remake. Okay. So cartoony, but still top down, slightly isometric.
Yeah.
You take that, but then Zelda is a badass, don't get me wrong.
Zelda is wicked powerful.
Zelda's awesome.
Yeah.
But she has different powers than Link. Link, you know, he's got the courage so he can go in with a sword and shield and just, yeah, you know, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Zelda's a little smarter than that because she's got the Triforce of Wisdom. So she's got some wisdomy magical powers at her disposal. Exactly. And so she uses that to her advantage. And similar to, you know, your Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom especially, you're basically going to be able to mimic items. Say you see a chair or a table. I'm basically describing what the trailer says.
Okay.
Say you see like a table.
Okay.
You can copy that table. Okay. And then anywhere in the world, you can use that table to like stack up and like climb a tree because you can now climb on the tables. And then within that tree, you can then take an acorn. And that acorn is now something you can reproduce a million of and throw at like enemies. And so it has like the constructy, creative Zelda fun that makes Zelda amazing. A lot of creativity, clearly. Like, I've never seen a game quite like this. It's kind of like Scribblenauts meets Zelda meets...
Oh my God, yeah. Scribblenauts?
I do remember Scribblenauts. I love
that game.
So Scribblenauts Zelda,
Interesting. Okay.
When you play as Zelda.
I am really into the concept, though I've admitted Tears of the Kingdom was not appealing to me for the building elements. There's something where if it's not the main focus of the... Like, this sounds like it's the main focus of the game. Her powers are to, like, replicate, and then you use those items, like, in a puzzle way. But in Tears of the Kingdom, like, you're still Link swinging the sword, but then you also have this, like, crafting element that, you know, Zelda games have that I was always frustrated by. I'm like, why do I have to make so many freaking potions? And then you have the building element where everyone was going buck wild and building boats and planes and like whatever. Right. And that it was like too much. It was like brain overload. I'm like, either give me an RPG where I swing sword or give me a crafting game where I'm building and having to make stuff. That's just me. Maybe
it's just Zelda because I'm so brainwashed at this point. But you know me, I can't, I don't have the patience for Minecraft. I don't have the patience for Sims. I don't have the patience to build and craft things like you're describing. Those games have never spoken to me. But Tears of the Kingdom, their system of just putting a few elements together, and boom, you have this weapon, this vehicle. It made sense for me. I never liked the cooking elements. I never liked the monster parts element or the Great Fairies elements of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
But the actual building, because I disagree with you, I feel like it was so ingrained into the gameplay.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't, it would just be like Breath of the Wild, DLC, and it wasn't.
No, I agree.
Every part of the game, I felt, did have at its core that, the combining elements and all the extra powers you get in Tears of the Kingdom.
But
it's been a year, so I forget like half the stuff in that game
but
already.
To be my own devil's advocate, like this Zelda game sounds dope. Like I think I would really enjoy that. I do like Sims and Minecraft and like those types of games. And I also love like Scribblenauts or like telekinetic games where, you have to like move pieces of things sort of in like a puzzle gameplay. I feel like all Zelda games are kind of puzzle gameplay in a way.
Yeah,
but
they are. They're puzzle games at their core, I think.
But
exploration puzzles.
This sounds. I'm actually really into this.
And some people would argue that it's a bit of a half measure of, it being the first game where you play as Zelda. But then, why not have it be this big 3D open world, more expensive release? Because it feels more stripped down than that. It's clearly on the Link's Awakening engine. But
I disagree.
I disagree as well. For me personally, Metroid Dread to me was a bigger deal than Metroid Prime 4. I don't care about big open worlds and crazy 3D graphics. I'm totally fine with a 2D adventure.
Yeah.
As long as the gameplay is good. So I couldn't care less about that. I just hope it's a good game, and it seems like it will be.
And we talked about that recently too, of like everyone feels compelled to make open world RPGs because so many AAA games are open world RPGs, and they're great. I love them. They're one of my favorite types of games. But I think there is something to be said if the gameplay is good and the concept is there. There's no need for that exact like way you described it. There's no need for that to be an open world RPG. No. In fact, I think it would be way too much. It would be way like, I'm building all this stuff and moving this stuff. And also, I think it's cool that they changed the style and the game type instead of making like a copycat clone game of Breath of the Wild and just making Zelda the main character. Yeah. That feels really lame. I'm like, what, is Link stuck in the castle? Like
that's basically.
But that's like, that would be lame if they just took the Breath of the Wild style and like gender swapped, It'd be like, okay, well, thanks, I guess.
They made it its own thing, and now this, the Zelda franchise. Yeah. Which would be very confusing.
Yeah, the Zelda franchise.
It could branch off into its own kind of thing.
I kind of love it.
I think it's great. I think it's amazing.
We've been so positive. Can I be a little negative Nancy?
I would love that. Bro.
Yeah, for once. I'm mad. All right. PlayStation may have plans to go fully digital for the PS6. I think that's so dumb.
Yeah, we saw this coming.
I know. I just think, like, you and I still don't have PS5s, and we talk about it. And most of the reason is because, one, we both do love older games, and my PS4 works perfectly fine, and it's backward compatible up to a point, and I still have my PS2. But man, to put out a console that is only digital is like it's just a memory card. Like, what is the point of it?
Yeah.
It feels really lame to not insert a disc and to have any physical media.
Agreed.
And then we're getting into the like subscription-based cloud storage world that everything is moving toward, where I'm like, oh, damn, the writing's on the wall. Like, yeah, PS6, you buy the console, it's, cloud storage only. And then next thing you know, PlayStation's going to be like, you can upgrade your storage, or you can do this, or we have, subscription plans where you can have access to these special tier games if you have the PS6 with the,
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that honks, especially for like the PS5 is not that old. And people love their PS5s. It's still hard to get one. They're still expensive.
And I don't. And Grant, don't make this a TikTok. Now they're gonna.
Don't make this a TikTok.
Don't make this a TikTok. But
famous last words.
I've yet to see a PS5 exclusive game that has been. Oh, I need to get a PS5. Yeah. That isn't also released on PlayStation 4. At least for my needs. Yeah. My intents and purposes. Having GameStop in business is good for you, Sony. Like, you need that. And having the physical media is good, because if you don't have that, all of the kind of digital cloud-based mini computers that are specialized on playing games can eat into your market. If everything's digital, then other options that are digital only become much more appealing for the consumer. There's a collectionist aspect of collecting games and having that physical media. We talk about it all the time. You don't really own something unless you have that physical media as well.
Yeah.
that has value for your Sonys and Microsofts and Nintendos, and they're shooting themselves in the foot. But also, obviously, it's cheaper to not produce those materials,
Of course.
and it's unfortunately kind of the inevitable
And
future.
I feel like a hypocrite at times too, because I'm a PC gamer.
Yeah.
And like the move towards PC gaming towers, you know, and that sort of movement away from just like desktop computers was the removal of disk drives. Like you
Right.
didn't need them anymore.
Right.
So nobody has them
It's
now.
becoming obsolete.
It's obsolete, and
Yeah.
it's everybody. I mean, if you game on Origin, EA, Steam, whatever, it's all cloud-based. Like I don't have any physical games anymore for my
Right.
computer. So I feel hypocritical being like, PlayStation's doing it too. What the hell? Because I
Well-
don't have a problem with not having physical discs for my computer. In fact, do we remember having those 90s computer cabinets or like
Oh yeah.
CD storage, you know?
Mhm.
Takes up a lot of space. I live in New York City. But I more so look at it from, and maybe it's nostalgia, rose-colored glasses bleeding in, but I remember when I would get a game and you had the manual.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
love that.
and
Well,
then-
they've got rid of manuals.
I
years
know,
ago.
but you also sometimes you would get like a poster,
I
you know, the
know,
fold-out
yes.
inserts, and like
Yeah.
there's something really special about having the physical, and then you scratch your disc,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
that
you can't
sucked.
play that anymore,
Yeah, well,
and
that sucked.
it stops at like a very certain level. It just stops.
Yeah.
Um,
It's better that than scratch your hard drive and lose everything.
oh
So that's-
God, so true.
But you can back things up. So
Yeah, but I
I
don't know. I'm torn now that I'm thinking about it from my standpoint as also a PC gamer,
Mhm.
because I certainly live in the digital era in that
Yeah.
realm, but I wonder why I feel so strongly for PlayStation.
As an old man who remembers when people collected Pokemon cards and Pogs, I'm like physical media, we need to preserve it, but realistically, PlayStation could have, and probably a lot of people within their company wanted to
Yeah.
go fully digital for PS5.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
1000%.
Again, there's with the internet and cloud and being able to just get all that data instantly, there really is no reason other than the physical media and owning something part of having discs. So I think the solution, which I feel weird saying this because it's the kind of concept that I've scoffed at before, they would have to sell games with like an NFT or something, like something that has
Oh.
actual ownership to. I know it's
Oh.
stupid, but
But I hear what you're saying, and also I think my fear, and it's not the death of physical media. I think that is inevitable, and it's sad, and it's like a thing of the past to hold on to, like, you know, your
Yeah.
posters and your manuals and whatever.
yeah. But we'd be silly to pretend like, oh no, we're going to be having.
Absolutely. And also, you know, then you can get into environmental stuff, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
if they stop production on that, but then also, you know, the power to mine the cloud storage. So it's like, ugh, 6 in one, half a dozen the other. But I think what I feel most strongly about is that lack of ownership. When you buy a game, you have it. With the online storage, it's very easy for them to then demand subscription service prices for things that you already have in your life. I don't know, like that's my future fear.
That is a fear, and it's a valid fear. But as long as there's a clear, once you
Divide.
download something and you have it on your system, you can access it. Like, and that's why I think people are so afraid of online only type of stuff.
Yeah.
I think if you download this game, unless you need an online connection to play, which frankly you do for 90% of games now, you should still be able to play it offline. If you were in a bunker with no internet access, can you play Elden Ring? You
Yeah.
know, is kind of the most important thing.
Right, yeah, if I have no internet access. I think that's the other big one too. If it's downloaded fully,
Right.
but then you better be giving me that PlayStation 6
Yeah.
better be a 3 terabyte, you know, because I want to have all my games on it.
Right.
I don't want to have to re-download and undownload and like
Yeah.
all the saves. I don't know, even on my PC, I've got a good PC, but like sometimes I have to fully just delete a game and
Right. Oh,
uninstall
all the
it
time,
to
yeah.
download a new game
All
that
the
I want
time.
to play. And I'm like, oh, my saves.
know.
Like, goodbye. I haven't played it in years, but
You can keep the saves and get rid of the game data.
yes, I do that.
I do that sometimes.
I keep the
Do.
caches. I do that. But yeah, I think I've come around on my initial poo-poo of that.
Well played.
Thank you. But
Well, I still poo-poo on it. I just think it's
ew.
sadly inevitable.
Ew, Marcus.
Yeah.
Poo-poo on it? Gross. Yeah, I think it's sadly inevitable. I think you make a good point, and I'm sure the folks at home will have opinions as well about the move to the digital era for a full console,
Yeah.
which, I don't know.
And I think you would have to justify it with obviously money's been inflating quite a bit lately.
No.
Yeah.
I am not paying attention to anything. Is it bad?
It's a little rough. So if PlayStation does do this with PlayStation 6, you'd best pass those savings on to the consumer. And I'm saying don't raise the price of your games. You know, you can keep it at 60, 70, but if you don't have to produce discs or disk drives,
Also lower that price of that console. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. I would, you know, at the very least, you can't raise the price of the PS6 over PS5.
yeah, we're not buying $1,000 console that
Hell
has no
no.
disk drive
No.
and that is just like terabyte SSD storage.
Exactly.
Like,
And
it would be ridiculous.
and again, the manufacturing costs of all those discs, which obviously they don't do that in-house, but that's a huge expense.
Yeah.
And I would expect those savings to be passed on to us.
Well,
to some extent.
let us know what you think. I think we've torn it apart as much as we possibly can.
We have talked about this topic a bit, but
I know.
I think
I get fired up about it.
it's becoming real.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
it's getting real quick.
Yeah.
But we got to move on because we have our lovely guest, George Motz, with us. Celebrity, chef, author, historian. He's got his son who is super into video games. I can't wait to talk to them and hang out.
Yeah.
So stick around. We have George Motz with us. I'm so excited. I mentioned that he was going to be on the show at the top of the show. He's here. He's with his son, Mac. George, you are a chef, an author, a historian.
Television personality.
I would say, yeah, entrepreneur in general.
Father, the proudest accomplishment.
A father.
I would think.
If you want to introduce yourself in your own words, please say hello to everybody. And welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me on. George Motz. I've sometimes referred to as the Burger Scholar.
Is that what they call you?
They do, actually. And I'm actually okay with that title.
A burgerologist, if
People
you will.
like to say that, oh, he's the self-titled Burger Scholar. Not true. The media gave me that title. Actually, no, the media, First We Feast gave me that title.
Burger Scholar.
Yeah, Burger Scholar.
I
So
love that.
I'm okay with that.
PHB.
It kind of covers everything. It covers all of it. I'm also a restaurateur. I own a restaurant now, Hamburger America in Soho, New York. But also, working on my 6th book right now.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you have the title yet?
Yeah, it's called Hamburger America, but it's the 4th version of Hamburger America, the book.
Okay. Heck
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a wild journey. It's been 24 years of hamburger stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it could be argued you're the leading burger scholar expert possibly in the world. I mean, my words, not yours.
Another
I'm
media
not,
title we're throwing
I'm
on.
not trying to, put you on the spot here. But from my perception of everything I've read about you, it seems like you are the burger guy
Yeah,
in the world, really, truly.
unquestionably. I mean, there are people who do know a lot about hamburgers, and I refer to them often, but they're very specific. I have friends who know about fast food burgers. I have friends who really know about hamburger history. I'm sort of the guy who's in the middle of all that who can explain all of that stuff.
Well, I also feel like you're a very hands-on person because you have traveled all over and are constantly traveling, it seems like, to try burgers, like to try out these spots, these like hidden gems. Then you write about it. Let's go back though, because there's so much to talk about. 24 years in the making.
I want to know the genesis of this
Yeah,
burger
like why burger?
expertise.
Were you a foodie? Did you work in restaurants? Was there like a burger story? What's the deal?
It was a complete fluke.
No way.
Yeah, it was an accident.
I don't believe it.
No, it's true. Absolutely true. Well, 24 years later, I can safely say it was definitely an accident.
What was the catalyst?
Well, it basically started where I was a filmmaker. I'm still a filmmaker, but I was a documentary filmmaker.
Okay.
I was a director of photography. I was a union local 600 director of photography working on TV commercials and movies
Way.
many years ago. And I loved my career. I had the greatest time. I traveled for that. I was trying to find a good documentary subject and started looking around and saw that nobody had actually treated the American hamburger with any kind of respect. So I figured, why not a hamburger documentary? Seemed to make a lot of sense to me. So what I did was I started looking out there and finding great hamburger stories, and then put together a film called Hamburger America, which I finished and actually screened in Chicago for the first time in 2004.
Wow.
And it was a profile of 8 different hamburger restaurants in America. And very simple stories about people who make hamburgers. And there's no what do you call it? No narration by me at all. You just hear them talk about the hamburgers, and they held their own. These crazy, quirky stories about regional specialties around the country.
Wow.
And I learned a lot at that moment.
Do you remember what those were?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
I mean, there's a lot to keep in your brain, though. I'm
Yeah.
sure
It's
you
true. No,
meet a ton of people.
Let's see if I do the 8. So
I mean, I forget anything that happened 2
Well,
months
you want
ago.
8? I can
since
give
it's
you-
a decade
No, I
ago.
mean, but like, I'm mostly curious, where were they? Like across America, were they like a lot in the same space, or?
that's a great question because they weren't all in the same place. And they all actually originally supposed to be 10 hamburger spots. One was in LA and one was in New York. And I really wanted people to get out there and see the country and experience the Hamburger America that I had witnessed. And so what I did was I eliminated New York and LA completely, and everything else is in the center of the country.
Bold move.
Very cool.
Thank you. Louis' Lunch in Connecticut, Ted's in Meriden, Connecticut, the home of the steamed cheeseburger, the green chili cheeseburger of the Bobcat Bite. It's not, unfortunately, it's gone now. What else was in there? The Wheel-In Drive-In, home of the Goober Burger. It's a peanut butter burger.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one. What else is in there? Billy Goat in Chicago. Right,
Mac,
I'm
tell us,
asking you.
Mac, what do you, tell us about the burgers.
I don't know why you're asking me. You're the expert.
The Sally's Grill, the home of the Butterburger in Milwaukee.
Yes. I'm a Midwest boy. I grew up in
Yeah.
northern Minnesota, and we love our Juicy Lucy's
yeah.
in Minnesota. And
Oh, so you know your burgers. That's good.
I know my Culvers and I know my my Minnesota burgers,
you go.
but I'm no expert. So
So it was a great film to make because no one had done it before. Food Network had just started. They were looking for some content, and I actually started working on it with a friend of mine who said, "Oh, you should definitely make some content for us." And I ended up saying, "You know what? This is bigger than Food Network." This
Yeah.
is so cool. It ended up becoming a 1-hour documentary that got picked up by the Sundance Channel, who then aired it for a year, and then PBS bought the rights to it, aired for another year and a half, and it kind of picked up a weird cult following. I wrote a book based on my research for that, and made a guidebook called Hamburger America, Guide to 100 Hamburgers in America.
Wow.
That became 150. It became another TV show on the Travel Channel, became a cookbook, then became a third guide, another cookbook.
So it
Restaurant.
really just kind of kept happening.
Oh,
You had this
snowballing like you
idea,
can't believe. Yeah.
and I mean,
almost like people like hamburgers.
yeah,
It's
so it was
crazy.
like people really
Yeah.
wanted what you
What?
put out into
Yeah.
the world, and it was actually very needed.
Right.
That is fascinating. But I mean, do you love hamburgers?
I love hamburgers. Oh
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. In fact, people say like, "You must be so sick of hamburgers." It's like no. Actually, my love of the hamburger grows. I think every day, by the week, by the day. By
Well,
the
also,
year.
like just from the list that you gave already, there's so many different types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are always like reinventing the burger and what you can do with it. Is there one that sticks out right now that you're just like, oh man, hands down, this is like the craziest or the best?
Boy, I'm
No.
sure you get
No.
this question.
I know
a
too
lot.
much. I get this
Yeah.
question all the time. The only way to answer it correctly is to say that I know too much.
Yeah,
That's fair.
fair enough.
I would be completely disingenuous if I had picked one.
What's your take? I'm just curious. What's your take on the huge burgers? Just like stacked, 2 feet high, or like the super wide patties.
Yeah.
Are you like, it's gimmicky?
Does it depend on the mood? Are you like a smash burger one day and then like big juicy?
I believe in good hamburger architecture.
Okay.
That it really should be constructed perfectly. It
Gotta
should
be
able to-
stable.
should be able to fit in your mouth.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't care what it looks like on Instagram.
Okay.
I don't care what it looks like when it's sitting on your plate. Oh, look what we did. We put a knife through it to hold it up. No, you don't need that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you
I'm
haven't,
with you. I really like that take. I was nervous about what
Yeah.
you're going to say,
Oh, no,
but I
no.
agree.
I'm pretty clumsy, so I don't like knives in my burgers personally. But
the perfect burger, honestly, is the one where you finish the thing and you say, "Oh, I could have another one. It wasn't that big, but I shouldn't have another one because it was just big enough. It was just the
Yeah.
right size." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a weird moment there because sometimes you eat a burger like, "Oh God, I can't. I'll eat one of those another next month or 2 months from now." I built a restaurant that is based on the burger that I want to eat every day, and I do.
How do you stay in shape? How do you stay fit? You eat
Calories in,
burgers all
calories
the
out.
time.
I don't eat. They're small burgers.
Yeah, that's true. They're not the
They're
huge
not
ones.
huge.
it's a balanced meal. You got a tomato on there. and,
Well,
you know.
before we jump ahead to your restaurant too, I want to go back too. So you were in 600, which is local 600 for New York. It's the film industry, if you don't know. How did you make that jump? Because it's scary. I work in the film industry too.
Yeah.
It's scary to like leave it. It's a toxic,
Ugh.
really Stockholm syndrome industry.
Yeah.
But you departed to make your own documentary. What was that process like?
It was very slow. I mean, it took 20 years to move out of away from the business. But honestly, I hate to say it, I aged out. As everyone knows, I aged out.
Yeah.
I got to the point where some of my assistants they were great guys and gals, were actually starting to shoot their own stuff. And then I had clients who were choosing them over me only because they were like, hey, they have newer ideas, which is fine. I have no problem. I didn't mind because at that point I was actually looking forward to my next phase of my life anyway. And if you had told me 10 years ago I would be making
The burger guy?
be the guy and have a restaurant, I'd say you're totally wrong. But here I am. But okay, I still shoot, I still film, I still do stuff for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just interested because you describe your documentary as I wouldn't say hands off, but you let the characters within your documentary and the burgers and the chefs kind of shine and fill, where you didn't need to show your personality and have narration. And yet you've since leveraged that, not so much leveraged that, just it's naturally come about where you've become a TV personality of your own. So how do you go from that kind of modesty of true documentary filmmaking to, obviously you're incredibly charismatic, this conversation's carrying itself because of you. So, I mean, did the producers just kind of see this incredibly charismatic filmmaker that knows his stuff, this incredibly talented chef, and is like, hey, this personality, we need to prop that up? Or was that a little more on your own initiative?
No, not at all. I mean, the initiative started with somebody else who said, you should be on camera. And I said, no, I'm a cameraman. I'm behind the camera. I have no problem doing this. And when I made Hamburger America, the film, back in 2004, when it came out, I'm a big fan of Errol Morris. Errol Morris had a film called Vernon, Florida. I don't know if you've heard of Vernon, Florida before. It was his first film. And it was a very bizarre film, but perfectly bizarre, where he just pointed the camera at six characters in the town of Vernon, Florida, and just had them talk. And just what they had to say was enough to hold the entire film. And it's a very strange film. I thought, wow, if I could maybe that's the format for Hamburger America. And so people I let them talk, let them go, and say crazy things. And they just, I have one guy, I remember on camera, he's just flipping burgers. He looks at me and he goes, it's a job. You got to work somewhere. Just like that. I caught that because I was rolling camera. I kept it in the film.
Perfect.
It was perfect. It was absolutely, it was so weird. You're watching him work. He's like, look at this guy. He's just making burgers. And he says that. It just ties everything together. Very, very Earl Morris to do that. But the big jump came, I think, whenever, from the other side of the camera, when a friend of mine said, I think you need to make a TV show about hamburgers, and you need to be on camera. So I can't do that. And so we started a pitch tape. We actually made a pitch tape and sent it around, and everyone said, no, this is not for us, not for us. We got turned down by every single network. I said, okay, well, obviously, this is not going to happen, obviously. And then I got a weird phone call from the Travel Channel. I said, we need a host for a TV show. And I said, is it about hamburgers? Because that's all I know how to do. They said, no, it's actually about America. It's called Made in America. I said, oh, wow, okay. It was already existed. The show existed.
Yeah.
So with the guy from Cheers was the
Yeah.
So I became the next host on that show. And I said, listen, I'm not a on-camera guy. I was like, we just saw your pitch tape. You're definitely on camera guy.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fantastic. And we did one season. The Travel Channel had issues where they ended up they changed everyone moved around there. So the Travel Channel fell apart completely and they ended the show. But then I said, the deal is I'll do your Made in America show if you do a hamburger show.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, fine. So we ended up doing two shows. We did the Made in America first, and then back to back did Hamburger America, did the show called Burgerland.
How was that experience of becoming?
I had a panic attack on day one.
Okay, that sounds about right.
I had a full-on panic attack.
Oh
I
my
had to
gosh.
actually leave the building. We were filming, I forget it, we were filming at New Balance Shoes in Maine. Okay. And it was a full-on, like, 2-foot snowstorm outside. And I was like, I just need to go outside. I'm like, George, you're like, I got to go outside. I went outside, breathing heavily. I have a friend of mine who's a psychiatrist, and she said, you're going to be fine. Everyone loves you. And I walked back onto set, and I said, listen, let me tell you something. I pointed at the crew, and I said, I've done everything you've done. I've been a cameraman. I've been the sound guy. I've been a producer. I've done everything you're doing except what I'm doing right now. Go easy on me.
Yeah.
And they were like, woo.
No.
And from that point on, I was like, I got this. No problem.
Appreciated it. Yeah.
Oh man. And then the burger show, so Burgerland. What was that experience like? Very similar to the documentary. I assume like you're traveling around, talking to people.
Yeah.
And then eating a burger.
Yeah.
Was that fun? Was that stressful? Did you enjoy it?
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I worked with great crews on Burgerland. I had a really great crew on the show. I make sure that we traveled with a crew, which at that point were just at the end of networks having money to
Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know
Tell
what's
me
happening
about it.
now. But back then, this is now 15 years ago, almost 13 years ago, when they just stopped being able to send out crews. They'd pick up local crews. And I said, the only way this is going to work is if we have like a tight-knit team. It's going to totally get me. And it worked. We actually did it. And that was the end of that moment, unfortunately. It would have been great, though,
But then,
to keep going.
So then an even bigger transition, I think, would be the idea to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people toy with that idea. It's sort
yeah.
of like a joke, especially people in the film industry. They're like, oh, if I open a restaurant. You did it, though.
Yeah.
What was that process like? And how did it happen? How did it unfold? You're a New York local.
Right.
Your spot's in Soho. That's prime time.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, we did it in reverse. I feel like my career has kind of been in reverse because a lot of people have restaurants and then make TV shows and write books and that sort of thing. like somebody at the New York Times pointed out that I did the reverse Julia Child, where Julia Child had her restaurants and her cookbooks first, and then she had TV shows. Well, no, the other way around. Her restaurant came first, basically. My restaurant came last. It's only because I looked out there and I said, "You're an idiot if you want to open a restaurant. It's foolish, you know. You have to know what you're doing." And finally, a friend of mine, a guy that I grew up with, a guy named Peter Ember, came to me, and he was a childhood friend, and he said, "You're not an idiot if you do that. In fact, you need to get a restaurant group involved." Oh, I hadn't thought about that. And so we started talking about the division of power and who would do what, and he stayed involved. I found a restaurant group, the Schnippers, from the Schnippers restaurants, in Manhattan. And they were excited. I said, "Well, I'm looking for some help. Can you recommend anybody?" And they were like, "We'll do it. We'll do it."
Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow, really? They said right away they would help out, and they wanted to be involved with the business. And that was the only way it was going to work. As if I had control over the image, what was going to happen,
Sure.
the menu and that sort of thing, and then let everyone else deal with the finances, the real estate, the brass tacks, the hiring, the insurance, the fun stuff.
Yeah, the things
They
that
love doing it though.
nobody actually wants to
Right.
do.
No, they actually enjoy reading contracts and getting lawyers involved. And
And
I
Schnippers
like
is
doing
huge.
them.
I mean, for people that don't know, I mean, it's in Times Square. I mean, like it's huge.
That was their first location. They
No
were
way.
originally they were the guys who started Hale and Hearty Soups.
Oh wow, no
Yeah.
way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Oh,
And
they
secret info.
they sold the business well. And then so Jonathan Schnipper is their executive chef at the Schnippers Group.
Okay.
That actually did that works with me right now, and all of our he makes sure our kitchens are functioning.
Wow.
which
What
is
was that
great.
like
Yeah.
going to him with your hey, listen, I am the burger scholar. And then having to sit down with him and be like, here's how I want my burgers.
He is an extremely talented chef and unbelievably humble.
Wow.
And when I said to him, we're doing like a hot dog special this weekend, and I
Nice.
have my own coney sauce. Which I don't know if you know what coney sauce is, but you know coney sauce?
I
Ooh.
think I know.
I've
I
been-
don't want to say because I don't want to be wrong,
It's like a
but I'm
sweet
pretty
chili.
sure. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's
Yeah.
sweet meat, beanless meat chili.
we were talking about chili earlier. I love
We are.
chili.
Yeah.
So we have a coney sauce on a hot dog just for July 4th weekend.
Nice.
And I asked Jonathan, would you like to make? He's like, no, if you have a recipe, I have a recipe in my book that we sell in the restaurant. We're going to use that recipe.
Heck
and he's totally humble. He's awesome. But he's a real food scientist. He's very, very heady and brainy food scientist at the same time.
What for the folks at home too? Talk a little bit about your menu. What's it like? I'm sure you change it, obviously, but
Not really.
no.
ain't broke.
We add specials on there, yeah. But
If it
that's
ain't broke.
Yeah.
it's very simple. There are more drinks on the menu than there are food items.
What do you got for drinks? What's going on?
We have a lot of things going on. We have a very large, which no one really knows about, secret menu
Ooh, okay.
that involves a lot of secret drinks. If you can figure them out, if you can ask for them, you can have them.
Ooh,
Okay.
I love a
But
challenge.
I'm not
Yeah.
telling you. Once in a
Okay.
while, I throw some teasers out there and put certain drinks on Instagram.
Like social
Okay,
media.
got to
and
follow
figure it out.
along. Okay.
See if
Very
you can figure it
It's
out,
an
yeah.
ARG,
That's
but you get
fun.
rewarded with
We have
deliciousness.
lemonades, iced tea lemonade. You can get lemonade with seltzer. You can get
I see,
sodas.
okay.
We have a very large milk program.
Okay.
It's like
I'm all
we don't have
about that.
milkshakes, so
Okay.
Midwest boy.
chocolate milk.
Hell yeah.
We have a Rhode Island coffee milk. You put coffee and chocolate together. You
Oh,
have
I'm
a
in-
mocha
I'm
milk.
into that.
Yeah. My mind's blown. This is a very New York conversation.
I know.
Sorry, everyone else. But just the thought of opening a restaurant to me is the most stressful thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
But especially, New York City, real
Yeah.
estate, it's just such a beast. I can't even imagine what that would take. And obviously,
Yeah.
you have the credibility, to your leg up over others, trying
Right.
to start this dream.
Well,
But it was
that
earned.
does help. That
clearly.
does help. Except that I have a restaurant group who is behind me, and that really could not. I have no way I would have been able to pull it off without them.
But listen, they want you more than I think you need them in the sense
It's,
that
Yeah.
it's totally reciprocal. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a nice relationship where all four of us, and it's a four-person management group, Schnipper Brothers, Peter Ember, and myself, and the four of us do manage. We divide and conquer, and that's simple. And we step on toes. We say, "I'm stepping on toes." Let me know if I'm stepping on too many toes.
Yeah.
And we'll get this done. We're all friendly.
And you have
Yeah.
one location.
Right now we have one location.
Is there a plan to remove?
All I can tell you right now for the public is that there is no plan currently.
Okay.
But of course,
Yeah.
there's a plan.
Yeah, of course.
gotcha.
I feel like
It's okay.
everybody starts to do like the bi-coastal thing,
Yeah.
but you seem, I don't know, with your elimination in the documentary of the New York and the LA, I'm like, this guy's a hometown boy. He wants to do like the Midwest, where possibly the best burgers are. I don't know.
Ooh.
Who's to say? Do you think your burgers are the best burgers?
I'm not gonna say they're the best. I will say that they are excellent examples of great Midwestern burgers.
Okay.
And I say that because obviously you look at the cities, you look at LA, you look at New York, you look at Miami. Burgers they're all over the place. There are a lot of burgers in these major cities, and they're varied. They're unbelievably varied. Also, those are the places where you find lots of fast food and fast food concepts, and the fast casuals, which are a little bit better, the better burger category. You get to the Midwest, and nothing's changed. It's like the land where the time forgot.
Yeah.
And it really is amazing how you can find primary source hamburgers in the Midwest that have been around for 100 years. Nothing's changed. Nothing. It's kind of fascinating. Even the chains seem to have adopted the Midwestern idea of no change.
Yeah.
Like Culver's, perfect example. Steak and
so
Shake.
much.
Yeah.
Steak's been around for almost 100 years now.
Yes.
And I'm curious because I wanted to talk to you too about chains and fast food and your take on that, because I know a lot of people have their favorite fast food restaurant for burgers specifically. People are so divided about fries from here, burger from here, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I feel like McDonald's, and correct me if I'm wrong, I am not a burger scholar. McDonald's really started the idea that no matter where they open a restaurant, it would be the same menu at every single place, the same quality. I mean, that was what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Is that still true?
Not true.
Okay.
The Burger Scholar says
False. But a big false. I was wrong.
many years before that was a restaurant called White Castle.
They
And
beat him.
twenties,
Okay, I
Yes,
didn't know
many
that.
years, 1920, 1921.
Okay.
Steamed onion burger.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But that was actually, they were the ones who standardized the hamburger in America.
Was it the little size too? Were they always the smaller?
They're always small. Yeah.
Ah.
There's so much I can say about this restaurant, but really the most important takeaway is that White Castle basically saved the American hamburger.
Wow.
Had not been for them, had not been for their standardization, for their support of the American hamburger, it would have gone away.
Do you like White Castle?
Today, I mean, I like them sort of, yes, sometimes.
Okay, no, fair. Do you have a fast food joint
if
that
you're
you like?
if you're driving on the highway and it's 2 a.m. and you need I mean, I'm sure you're a little spoiled on quality burgers, but if you really have a hunkering for a burger and it's the side of the highway type situation, do you have a go-to or a preference?
I mean, the only two chains that I really love, three I should say, are Five Guys.
Okay.
High quality, and they're all over the country now, which is great. Steak and Shake in the
Yes.
Midwest and Austin, Florida, obviously. And the third, of course, is In-N-Out.
I was about to say, I was
In-N-Out is
curious
great.
about your opinions on In-N-Out.
It's a great burger. It
Okay,
really is,
I
yeah.
agree. I think it's really good. The animal style with the sauce and everything. They've got a really good sauce recipe.
To me, all three of those are a tier above what I consider, because that's like Shake Shack, where if I'm paying $10+ for a burger,
I don't think Shake Shack.
In-N-Out's cheap, which I love about In-N-Out.
People
but-
compare the two, and I get it. It's like a West Coast, East Coast thing. Steak Shack has nothing on In-N-Out. The burgers are very different.
Shake Shack, you mean?
Shake,
You
what did I
said
say?
Steak Shack.
Steak Shack? Shake Shack?
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind.
I want to go to Steak Shack.
I would love
Steak
a Steak
Shack.
Shack. Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be great.
Steak Shack would be better than Shake Shack,
Yeah.
in my
Quaker
opinion.
Steak and Lube. That's another.
What about
we'll
Cookout?
see.
Cookout's like a
even know
southern
Cookout.
one.
Cookout's actually very good.
Cookout's not bad.
Yeah.
like, I like
He's from
Cookout.
Tennessee, so he
Yeah, you
knows.
know
Yeah.
Cookout.
When I was
Yeah.
in Texas, everyone was crazy about Whataburger, and obviously I'm from Wisconsin, where Culver's is
Oh,
king.
yeah, there
so
you go.
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know. That's me as a fast foodie. I was curious,
But also similar to what you said about just, burger joints in general, like the burger styling is very different. And I think that's why people have their favorites that they always go back to, because they simply like that type of burger.
Yeah.
The smaller burger, versus like a large super double patty, whatever.
But it's the one you can have every day. I mean, the one you don't feel bad about having every day. So what we did in the restaurant was we created a burger that you really literally could have every day. And we have some regulars that come in every day.
Sure.
That's amazing though.
And it's basically almost a 3-ounce patty.
Okay.
It's smashed thin, so it's thin. It's served on a Martin's potato roll. It's buttered and toasted, so it's so simple to begin with. We use really good American cheese. It's real American cheese with actual dairy in it. Nice and melty and perfect.
Yeah.
And then you can get it all the way, which is diced onion, pickled chips, 2 pickled chips, and mustard, and that's it.
Oh,
Very cool.
What I
wait.
call the Midwestern trilogy.
no ketchup.
No ketchup. You can put ketchup on if you want, but I don't like to put ketchup in my burger.
Interesting.
That brings me my next question. It might be a little controversial. You don't have to answer this, but
Oh boy.
as a burger expert,
Oh boy.
are there any kind of, I want to say, pet peeves or burger sins that you don't think is right for a burger that you see occasionally?
I think now we know one.
I think we know one of ketchup for sure. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, ketchup's a mess. I mean, it's too sweet. It's a very simple condiment, which is great, I guess, but it's not. It shouldn't be on a burger.
I'm with you. I don't eat my burgers with ketchup.
You can put ketchup and mustard on a burger.
Yeah.
That's okay. You put a little mayo in there. Oh, wait, then you got a sauce.
I'm
So you
a
got a
mustard
bechamel,
and-
then you're getting crazy.
I'm a mayo and mustard kind of guy in my, I don't know. Hot dogs especially, I can't do ketchup. But burgers, I can do ketchup, but I usually prefer them with like a nicer sauce or just mayo personally.
Yeah, but ketchup alone in a burger. I see people in the restaurant. It makes me crazy, but I can't do anything about it. 'Cause, hey, people, I'm not going to tell
Going
them
over to
no.
customers and you're like, take that off.
People thought I would like walk around like, give me that ketchup back. You're having too much ketchup. We go through about 10 gallons of ketchup just on the weekend alone.
What?
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
On the weekend?
I think people are drinking it in the back. I think they're actually like using straws.
You have some good ketchup. That's on the drink menu. The hidden drink menu is just a gallon of ketchup. You can get that. That's true. That's canon now. You can get that.
Well, do you serve French fries?
We do.
Okay.
So a lot of people, I have no problem, obviously, with people putting ketchup on fries. I have no problem with people putting ketchup anywhere, but as long as they don't put it on my burger, I'm
Is
okay.
it? All right.
Love
the
that.
big question. Is it and Mac, I want your opinion too. Is it a burger sin to put fries on your burger?
Ooh. I was sin. That's kind of crazy. Bobby Flay makes something called a crunch burger. We put potato chips on it.
Very
Ooh.
popular in sandwiches too, which
I
I
do like
like.
that.
I like the
Yeah, I
textural
like a little
difference.
crunch.
Soft bun, little crunch.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. The French fry thing is weird. It has to be the right fries.
Fair.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put steak cut fries on a burger, but
Or
like
JoJo's.
thin,
Yeah.
like a Five Guys fry even with a little flavor packed into it.
Shoestring,
Like,
Yeah.
maybe a crinkle cut.
yeah, something interesting. Mac, do you have any specific like burger things that you've developed from your dad where you're now like, I have to eat burgers this way? Or do you
Has
do
he
you just
ruined like Burger King burgers for you? And...
Has he ruined? Well, like, so I mean, like, as I grew up, I think that I definitely went to a lot less like fast food restaurants than like the normal kid my age
That's
would
true. I
go
didn't think of
to.
that. Yeah, that's
I
right.
bet.
I think like the first time I had a Big Mac, which seems funny that I didn't have a Big Mac
Mhm.
until then, was like 2 years ago.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Like I just
Wait, when did you have a Big Mac?
Oh no.
I,
He did it.
Here we
He
go.
did it.
Oh, no,
He
no.
did it. We're just joking around.
Wow.
I didn't actually have it. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
I did. I did.
You tried it.
The guilt set in.
I didn't inhale.
That's right.
Yeah, no, but like I just didn't have the full like range of fast food that I think like a normal kid my age would have.
Well, I'm also curious. I mean, it's the meme joke of like we have burgers at home, and it's like the burgers at home, but you actually probably had amazing burgers.
I have the Burger Man at home.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Do you
I mean,
cook
yeah.
burgers at home? Was that
I
a
do,
thing?
I do.
Oh,
Okay.
I did a lot of testing at home also.
Sure.
So you were the test subject.
And also, we filmed Burger Scholar sessions at the house, and so we were constantly testing burgers for Burger Scholar sessions.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, we did I think 37 episodes of the show during the pandemic.
Oh my gosh.
So we did a lot. It was
Wow.
all we filmed ourselves. We just set up cameras and pointed them at ourselves.
Wow. Wait, so Mac, feelings on burgers?
Well, I mean, I don't think I can say I don't like them because if I do say that, then I think like you'll
Of course
like
you can say whatever you
disown me.
want. You're almost 17.
No, I
Disown
think
you.
burgers are great. I mean, I definitely think that like you have like tainted my view of burgers.
Tainted.
Definitely.
That's good.
No, like I don't mean that in like a bad way. Like I mean like you definitely have given me
Influence.
Yeah.
exactly.
Good.
Like I've been on a lot of your like Midwest burger eating
Journeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
journeys. Yeah, that's a good word too.
Did you travel too? Did you get to
Yeah.
travel? That's awesome.
Yeah, no, yeah, we travel a lot.
Yeah.
We probably travel at least like together like 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
nice.
We do
It's
father-son
awesome.
trips.
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, that's,
Oh, that's-
beautiful.
Yeah.
We were talking about
Awesome.
we have a thing we do.
I heard. Okay, I want to hear about
now,
this.
Or are we talking about it now?
Yeah. I
Go
want to
for
hear.
it.
I want to hear about it.
So a couple years ago, many years ago, we went to Iceland. Where were we? I think it was, we went to
Ooh.
Iceland and
Iceland.
Reykjavik or
we went, well, we would circumnavigate.
Oh,
Well, we didn't go the whole island, the island nation, but we ended up going like all the popular spots.
cool.
I've been there a couple times since then, but Mac and I went, and Mac right away. How are you? 9? How old were you? 9? Probably 9 years old.
9?
Probably 9 when you went. Yeah, which is amazing.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
It was not 7 years ago.
Oh yeah, I think you were 9 years old.
It was 7 years ago.
I'm pretty sure he said one of the greatest things to me ever. I'll never forget. I gotta say, sorry, I gotta say, mention this.
Okay, wait.
We were standing behind a waterfall, and he said, "Dad, in my whole life, I never imagined I'd be behind a waterfall." I think he was 9.
I mean, yeah.
I think
I
you're
love
right.
that.
Probably sounds about 9.
That's very
sounds
true,
about
very true,
9.
yeah.
That's pretty true. So
9
we were
years
looking.
ago?
So Mac had become obsessed with at a very young age the escape room.
Ooh.
And we decided that we were going to, it was his idea actually, to every time we went travel somewhere to find the escape room. Oh, Mac, we can't, I don't have time for this right now. I was like, gotta make time, Dad. You gotta figure this out. And so we did. Every time we travel somewhere, we've been to escape rooms all over the country and the different parts of the world. I mean, it's been fun.
Whoa.
He's gone without me. And he's actually very good. He's very good. He's the challenge of the escape room is not lost on Mac.
Yeah. Are you a puzzles guy?
Yeah.
You
big
really
time.
enjoy puzzles?
Yeah.
I did an escape room one time, I think for like my 28th birthday. First time I ever did it. I've always wanted to do them, but you have to have willing friends or a willing parent. You have to
Right.
want to do
This is very true. Yeah.
because you have to work together to do
Get
the
into
room.
it,
Like if
yeah.
one person is not contributing, it kind of ruins the whole thing. So I went with a friend and 2 other friends, and we ended up, I'm sure you've done this one. It was in New York, but it was like a jail that you're stuck in. So we were both in separate jail cells.
Yeah, we did that one. Yeah.
Which I didn't know they would separate us either. So
They used the
suddenly,
magnet against the wall to get the.
yes, yeah, and there's
key
like a
up and-
mirror, and like there was
Yeah.
so many puzzles that I unexpected. I was like pleasantly surprised because I was a little older, and I was like, I'm sure I'll figure this one out. Puzzles were kind of hard at times.
No, this was what we love. We love figuring out these puzzles.
And it's like the fact that we were separated too. It was like it was like a co-op game with a friend online. You had to work together, like we're talking through the wall to be able to both break out. And then once we were out of the jail cell, we had to like crawl through a tunnel.
Yeah, remember that?
And there was like
That's awesome.
there was like a maintenance room, and then the wardens all. I was like, this is way bigger than I thought it was. This is like way more convoluted.
I
But
haven't done them because I think I have too much pride, and if I
Oh.
don't solve it, I will
Yeah.
hate myself.
You start calling.
So,
you start
like,
calling for hints on the intercom,
I
and
can't.
you feel bad.
There's no way
you feel
I
bad.
can't put my ego through that.
Yeah, I'm
so
like,
I
I'm
just,
30. I should know how
Right.
to solve a puzzle.
I watch too many horror movies. I do too many logic puzzles. Like I have too much to lose with my own
Marcus,
personal pride.
You
to
got to
even
do it
try
because you start trying to like yank books out, and then they
Exactly.
come on the intercom, and they're like, "Please don't do that." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sorry, thought that was the answer. I guess
Right.
not. I'll put those back."
Yeah.
No, we spent a lot of time. Anytime we've called for a hint, usually it's because they made a mistake in the room, and we figure it out.
Ah.
My
My
God,
God,
figure it
wait,
out. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember the one we
Remember when you like you like stuck your hand up into some like
I cut my finger.
barrel and you like cut
no.
your finger
Yeah, I was
on some like nail. Yeah.
I was like, I'm bleeding.
Oh my
Can I get a
God.
Band-Aid? Somebody give me a Band-Aid. So
That's funny.
we take great pride in making sure that we figure out these games.
You're
we
also
saw
like game testers almost for them because you guys are
big time.
kind of
Oh, they always
pros.
thank us, yeah.
Yeah, like at this point, you're like, yeah, we've done a lot of these. Listen, here's some improvements.
Yeah.
This is what
this
I think.
kid set a record at one of the Miami South Beach one.
Hell yeah.
They were so impressed. At that point, you were probably 12.
You get a free T-shirt or something. They
No,
better.
they gave him a
Way
free
better.
game.
Yeah,
And
oh,
I
nice.
actually had to go
Again.
pick up my daughter somewhere else. I said, I can't do it, Mac. He's like, I'll do it right now. And these 2 German tourists were like, okay, can you help us, Mac?
Oh my god!
And they went into the room with Mac.
The 12-year-old Mac
amazing.
was
They were
like,
like-
I got it. No worries.
Came out and he was like, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there
And if Germans are saying that, you know
Then
your
you know.
logic is really high up there.
Is there one that sticks out that was like your favorite or one that was really fun? All the scenarios are so different. I'm curious.
yeah.
Milwaukee? No.
I don't know.
We did Reykjavik, we did Milwaukee, we've done
a lot.
Chicago, Miami.
I love this
I mean, like,
Wisconsin appreciation.
Yeah.
I've done,
Charleston.
like-
Remember Charleston? It was weird.
Oh yeah, I remember. I'm like I've also done like Mexico. I've
Ooh.
done
Oh, that's right,
Italy.
yeah, without me.
Yeah, no, I've gone to a bunch. I mean, I think that the other end of the thing is like there's definitely more that I remember that are not good.
Mm.
Ah, okay.
There are a lot more that were really bad than there were that they were really good. I don't know if like it's because I've done so many that are good. That's like like these are like not like it's like more like subpar.
Yeah, it's hard to judge when you've done
But
so
the
many.
multiple room ones are always the coolest.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like this shelf's gonna move into a second room, or like this mirror's gonna open and it's gonna be a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
nother
Can you
thing.
call it sometimes? Do you like enter
yeah.
a room and
Yeah,
you're like,
no, yeah.
I think I know.
You can see like the rails on the ground. Oh, like that's gonna like move over the side.
You're like the seam in the wall. You're like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. You
Wait,
can see
so-
the cracks in the set, literally.
Mac, you also love video games.
Yeah,
Do you enjoy puzzle video games specifically?
yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Are there some that
Definitely.
stick out that you like playing?
I mean, I think that like there's definitely like sort of like a lot of different like types of puzzle games.
Yeah.
Like I was just playing this last night. It's called A Little to the Left. It's not really a
Okay.
puzzle game. It's more of just like a you're sitting there, you just like want to do something to like fill your time.
Of course.
It's like if you have like OCD, it's like the best game
Sure.
ever.
Marcus.
I got
It's
that.
It's like here's a bunch of like pencils and trying to like order them from like left to right, from like the tallest to the shortest, or like from like this color to this color. And it's
Very
like
cool.
a bunch of different like things, like different ways that you can like organize like the things.
Have you
yeah,
played
fun.
Have you played Unpacking?
I have, yeah. No,
Do you like that one?
Similar.
Love
it's like
unpacking.
it's like very relaxing. And then like the other end of the whole thing is like I just played Myst.
Oh, classic.
I just
Hell
went back. Yeah. mhm.
Sorry. Heck yeah.
I just played Myst, and then yeah, I was talking to him about it because
96.
It's a classic.
It's a
Do you,
classic.
do you know it?
yes.
Do you
I
ever
mean,
play it?
Myst is a little bit.
I mean, that's
Was
like
it
an
after
escape.
him?
That's the
This was
ultimate
after.
escape room in
Yeah.
a sense,
You don't even know how
right?
far back I go. I mean, I go back to. So I was not the Pong generation.
Sure.
Atari.
Atari.
Okay.
So I was the next generation.
Yeah.
It's got a half generation of Pong that ran into Atari. What was it called? Activision, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo.
And
Yeah.
television, ColecoVision,
Coleco.
and then there's the NES. There's the Atari 2600, and then you had the Atari 5200 with the ColecoVision.
George,
and
we age
television.
ourselves every episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my favorite game system from when I was a kid, and you can
Yeah.
tell exactly when I was
Yeah.
born.
I'm the old school guy. I grew up on the NES, which is a little after that, but
Okay.
that's because I inherited the NES, and I don't know. So,
I loved my Atari. I had too much fun on it. The best.
well, we're definitely going to talk a lot more about your history and relationship with video games on our next episode. If you guys are able to come back tomorrow, if you don't mind.
Love to have you back.
But
Please.
I would like to know: is there anything kind of on the horizon, anything in the works that you'd like to talk about?
Or anything you want to plug, social media, your
well,
website.
that's what I was asking, but in a more subtle way.
Yeah.
I'm asking directly.
Okay.
I'm like, spell it
Cool.
out for our viewers.
Yeah.
I'm very active on Instagram. Instagram has basically created the first part of the personality post shows. Motzberger, MOTZBURGER is my main account, but also Hamburger America, the restaurant, has its own account. And also, I'm very active on that with other people. So it's
Can you say those accounts one more time? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Motzberger, MOTZ Burger on Instagram, and also Hamburger America with an underscore here between the two. But they're very active. I mean, I do a lot in stories. So,
And
yeah.
visit the restaurant. I feel like I gotta
The
say,
restaurant's
go,
great. I'm
go
there,
eat a burger.
I'm there most days.
Where
Heck
is
yeah.
it?
Mostly for lunch. It's in Soho. So come on by.
Yeah, if you're in New York, or maybe if you're on a trip and you want to eat a really good burger in New York, don't go to Shake Shack.
No, come to Hamburger America. Just if you show up and there's a line, you're there on the wrong day. That's all I got to say. There's not a line every day.
Stick around though. We still have our tier list coming up,
Yeah, we're gonna do best foods in video games.
which is gonna just make me more hungry than I already am after we
Mm-hmm.
talked about burgers all day long. But we will have George and Mac back and maybe play a cooking simulator, possibly.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to another exciting tier list here on Next Level Play. This time, we're going to be consuming some hot takes. What's that? What are you doing, Sydney?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you stirring a potion
Stirring
like a
pot.
witch?
I'm stirring a pot of soup, but it's too salty. I made it too salty.
How big is this pot of soup?
It's big. It's in my lap and it's really hot.
Why would you put that on your lap? That seems like a
Hot,
terrible
actually.
idea.
Hold on, let me just.
This is like a consomme, like...
I spilled it everywhere.
What are the other... Gazpacho? No.
That's a cold one.
Yeah, that's what I thought about.
Yeah, making a cold gazpacho summer soup.
Very nice.
Enjoy. The reason I'm cooking is because let's cook. The reason I'm cooking is because our tier list today is maybe my favorite tier list so far. Dare I say? But it's the best food in video games, like food items in different video games. And Marcus, would you do me a favor and read off the tiers because I think they're so funny.
Yeah, we got the best food of all time.
Obviously.
A goated category. Very delicious, quite yummy, fairly tasty, fine, bad, the worst dish ever, and IDK what it is.
I don't know what this is.
Which is just the I don't know. But we got the worst dish ever and the best food of all time. I don't know. Food in video games, to me, this could have been a topic earlier. We can talk about this tomorrow a little more.
Yeah.
It's like anime
Yes.
makes food look so good.
Yeah. I know what we're thinking.
Cartoons
Spirited
do.
Away, the
Yeah.
noodles.
Even like
oh.
Pokemon with those rice cakes.
Yeah.
Which they call jelly donuts in the American version. I don't know what it is, but
They call onigiri, like the is it like the rice
Yeah,
with the they call
with the
them jelly donuts?
They called it in the American dub of Pokemon because they didn't think American kids would be able
They
to pick
really
up on.
messed that one up.
Right.
That was a crazy switch.
Anyway, we're gonna start, I think, with the classic green and red mushrooms in Super Mario Brothers. 1-up mushroom and the super mushroom.
Okay,
What do
so
you think?
based on our tier list, the way that it's set up, it's not like it looks really good. It's like you're gonna eat that food.
Oh, so it's gonna be based on edibility.
Well, to me, immediately the mushrooms have eyes. They have little eyes.
That's true.
And it kind of freaks me out because I'm like, are they sentient? Like,
Yeah.
are they blinking at me? I don't know. I'm going to put them at fine.
Okay, I
Because
mean,
they also don't look that appealing to eat.
well, there's food on here that is just straight up food.
Yeah.
So I do think the power of the food does take put a little bit
I see.
put a little bit of a factor, but I agree. The taste, it's whether or not you want to eat it, both for what it'll do for you
Okay.
and what it'll, you know.
Nope, you have a point. You have a point. I'm going to put it to fairly tasty then, above fine, because, yes, these are magical mushrooms. They're going to give you boosts, which you
For both of them, you're going to put.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Okay.
both. I'm going to say both.
I'm fine with that. I probably would have bumped them up a little more because I'm a Mario stan. What I would say is I would put the green mushroom into the fairly tasty. A, because green mushrooms are even less appealing to eat than red. But B, I mean, listen, one life is great, but you still have to go through the horrible, horrible experience of death.
Yeah.
And then rebirth. And who knows if that's even really you. Whereas with the super mushroom, you can get a killing blow and then just like shrink back down.
Yeah.
Plus you get to become like super big. Yeah, well, that's
Oh, you're right.
star, but
That's the star.
regardless. So I would put fairly tasty green mushroom, quite
Okay.
yummy red mushroom.
Okay.
Can
I do one?
please.
I would like to do the Nuka-Cola from
Ooh.
Fallout.
Okay.
Because even in the game, the sound effects, you know, when they drink it,
Yeah.
it just seems so, and I know it's giving you rads, but it seems so refreshing. You hear the pop cap off, you hear the cap,
The bottle
pop,
cap.
pop off,
And then you get a bottle cap.
then you get a bottle cap, and then just like the gluck, gluck, gluck. Ah, I'm going to put it, okay, it does have rads. I'm going to put it at fine because it probably tastes like really good in the moment, but
Listen,
then it's like giving you radiation.
I love Coca-Cola and I love Dr. Pepper.
As a
so
spice.
much.
It's a spicy soda.
There's nothing more refreshing than a nice, cold,
But you
soft
are
beverage.
getting radiation.
But we're talking about a radioactive cola here,
Okay,
which has great packaging.
do you want to put it in bad?
I think we can compromise because it does seem pretty fucking refreshing.
And you kind of need it. Like you don't have a lot of other options.
No.
Like you could have radiated water, or you could have the Nuka-Cola, like
which is also radiated.
or dirty water, or Nuka-Cola. We're gonna pick the Nuka-Cola.
Yeah,
All right,
we'll
let's put it in eh. Let's put it in eh.
So
We're really forgiving.
I love it. All right, we got the Donkey Kong bananas.
Those look good.
They look real fucking good. So good. I'm sorry, I keep swearing. They look really good. So good that, I mean, they really spawn the adventure of the Donkey Kong Country series. If the banana horde was never pilfered and stolen, Donkey Kong would have just chilled.
Yeah,
you
he
know.
would have been just a chill dude in the
He just
jungle.
would have been chilling, in his home. So,
I say very delicious.
wow, that's so high.
It's a really good looking
It's
banana.
just a banana. I mean, granted, 100 gives you a free life,
It's
but
perfectly ripe. Like it's a tiny bit green at the top still. Like it is no bruising.
you're right. It's the perfect banana, which is one of the finest fruits.
And in the game throughout, they are all perfect.
I just
Like,
wish the tally man would count mine already. I want to go home. Yes, very delicious it is.
I am gonna say, oh, okay, we got a big one for Sid. The sea salt ice cream from
okay.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
That shit looked so good,
It
even
looks
on the little
so-
DS screen.
And it's bad. Like the graphics aren't even
It's
good. It's just a
terrible.
block. It's just a blue block.
But it looks good. That's what
man,
popsicles should look like.
Sitting on the clock tower with your boys, like it's summer. Summer's coming to a close, and you pop out these popsicles. Like that is a core memory.
Yes, and there's something about the color. I think
Yeah.
that just makes it like just really. Because I'm with you. I know that popsicle from
Light blue doesn't even make sense. Like sea
No.
salt, you're like, I'm confused what the taste
powder blue.
would be. I'm gonna put it at very delicious.
Okay.
Very
okay.
delicious.
Wow, that's high, but I'm okay.
It
I'm
looks
fine with
really,
that.
it looks really good.
I'm fine with it. I'm gonna go to one other one that gives us, a little bit of powers. The Maxim tomato from Kirby.
Yeah,
I'm an Italiano boy, all right? I'm mostly Siciliano.
make some gravy
right?
with that.
Marron, right? So,
Yeah.
like, I would be a terrible Italian if I didn't say, hey, a tomato that also completely revitalizes all of your health and virality. Virility? I don't know. Anyway, it's, yes.
Tomato.
Maxim tomato to me, but it is still
Just a tomato.
Yeah, but still, it refills your health. It's between a very delicious and quite yummy.
I'm gonna say quite yummy only
Okay.
because like it's just a raw tomato.
It is just a tomato.
Don't get me wrong, love slicing up a fresh tomato with a little salt.
A little fresh mozzarella.
Oh,
okay.
now, but
a little
but I'm-
basil,
but
maybe
that's
some
what I'm saying.
arugula.
But that's what I'm saying.
Just
We're
a
not.
drizzle of olive oil, baby.
We're not there.
Balsamic.
We're not there. It's just a tomato. Now I'm just really hungry.
Okay, how about the Sprunk soda from Grand Theft Auto and Manhunt, I believe, as well?
Uh,
It's 10 times the caffeine and sugar of a normal soda.
Honestly, I'm a big Sprite person over
Mhm.
like Coca-Cola. So like already the coloring and the can design, I'm gonna put it at quite yummy.
Okay,
There's
it does
nothing
look good.
Nothing wrong with a little caffeine boost.
Here's the thing, though. Sprite has no caffeine, so like 10 times 0 means
Sprite
0.
has no caffeine.
Mm-mm.
Sprite has no caffeine. What the fuck have I been drinking?
I'll fact check myself.
What the heck have I been drinking?
Does any...
Ginger ale has no caffeine, which I
Yes.
found out recently.
I don't
did
think any lemon lime soda has caffeine.
check that right now.
0. I know my fucking sodas, all right? You
Why
gotta
am
go
I
to a
dr-
citrus
Why am I
soda.
drinking Sprite then?
You gotta go to Mountain Dew or Mellow Yellow.
What's the
Has
point?
it been working for you?
Placebo effect, I
It's still
guess.
sugar.
I'm like, ooh, a little Sprite. Ooh, and I'm so awake.
Lemon lime sodas, the ones that go for refreshing, they're
Been
usually not.
lied
They're
to.
usually not caffeinated. 7
All
Up
right.
doesn't. Sierra Mist, Starry, maybe. I don't
Can
think
we
so though.
agree that it's very delicious or quite yummy because of that caffeine boost for the sprunk?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about
right.
the sprunk.
All right, so now this
Also,
might be,
it's funny to say, and it's
Sprunk.
clearly gross.
might be
so.
controversial. The Skyrim sweet roll. It's a classic.
I mean, it refills health, and it's a nice, delicious sweet roll.
It doesn't look good. It looks
Sure.
bad. It looks like it could be rotten.
Do you know what food was like in the Middle Ages, though?
I know. They're doing their best. It has
Yeah.
like a frosting on it.
Yeah.
I know. They're doing their best. But
It's a luxury.
I'm going to put it at fairly tasty. It's like you're not
Okay.
getting your mutton.
It's hard to hate on food, isn't it?
It is
We're
hard
not
to hate on
finding
food.
a lot of.
I think
a lot
also
of
we're
hateable
hungry.
foods. That's true. How about the fruits / key / bell / spaceship? I never knew what that was. Flower from Pac-Man,
Oh,
which I'm pretty sure these are original Pac-Man, not Miss Pac-Man, because Miss Pac-Man has the pretzel.
yeah. They're cute.
They
They're
only give points,
yeah. They're like eight. They're like 8-bit. They're cute.
but points can give you a 1-up.
I'm gonna put them at fine.
Okay, I like
fine.
the ones in Miss Pac-Man more because they move around.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fine
more
for these.
exciting. Okay,
fine.
Would you like to do one? Or?
Let me see what we're working with. Oh, I think so the one that's the table with all the stuff on it, I'm almost positive that's from Monster Hunter, which has some really fun looking food.
It's a smorgasbord.
It's a smorgasbord. You got a lot of options, but they look crazy. The food in Monster Hunter looks buck wild because obviously you're hunting monsters and then
Right.
like you eat stuff. I don't know about that.
If dragons were real, would you eat dragon? Would you try it?
Probably.
I would, 100%.
I mean, I've had alligator,
I've had
frog,
gator too. Yeah. That feels
Snail.
similar. Snail's good.
I would probably eat dragon.
Snail's just. I mean, it's all just butter and garlic.
It
That's
all
why it's
tastes
so
like
good.
chicken. They just fry that stuff up. I'm gonna put the monster. If that is Monster Hunter, I'm gonna put it at
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
can't. It's like all the food you could want.
I feel
but
like it's cheating.
all
too.
of it. You know what it's like?
Hmm.
It's like a buffet style thing, but like at a shitty place off a highway.
Oh yeah.
So it's like cheap and you have tons of options,
Kinda
but
love
it's
that
like
shit, though.
not that
right.
good.
Everything. There's something.
off about everything.
Yeah. Somehow it's variety, like from spaghetti to burgers to cakes.
Like from afar, you're like, oh my
Yeah,
god, and then
to
as you
prime
get
rib.
closer,
But everything kind of has the same texture and
And
flavor
taste, yeah.
somehow. Yeah. Like Old
Everything-
Country Buffet.
yep, everything kind of carries over, and it has like the same
Yeah.
seasoning.
It
You're
just
like,
all tastes like the
huh.
heating lamp.
yes.
It's like
Yes.
and metal, and you don't
Yes.
really know why.
You're like, is it the fork? You're like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
it's the fork. I think it's the food.
Yeah.
All right, so that's
Uh,
gonna be an eh.
Okay, that's fair. What about the cake from Portal?
Okay,
Quite the MacGuffin.
I know. The cake is a lie.
It's not though.
The cake is a lie.
No, it's not.
The cake is a lie, and I'm not supposed to have it, but man, does it look. And this is my kind of cake.
Uh-huh.
I'm a chocolate girl, like
Mm.
chocolate cake, chocolate frosting, chocolate sprinkles on the outside,
Sure.
little delicious cherries.
Is that what it is, cherries?
It looks like it might be cherries.
I always thought it was raspberries, but I think you're right.
I don't know. Whatever it is, this is my kind of cake. It even looks like maybe coffee beans on the outside, like a sort of coffee
Ooh.
texture. It looks
Yeah.
probably supposed to be
Oh,
chocolate.
maybe it's like a Black Forest type situation.
That's one of my favorite
Mm,
types of chocolate cake.
Sure.
I'm gonna give, and I know it's a lie, I know it's not.
They have it though. It's,
I'm
it's
not-
displayed. That's
I'm
the
not
whole
supposed to eat
post-credit
it.
reveal is like, oh, there is a cake.
I'm gonna say it's the best food of all time. Mike, drop.
For pure zeitgeist, that's just such a fucking buzzword. Shoot me in the fucking temple. For the overall cultural appeal of the cake is a lie.
It's very important.
We were teenagers when that happened, and it was everywhere. And it
Yeah.
was a little annoying, but it's clearly stood the test of time and is, I think, probably the most iconic, while also the most arguably delicious looking food in video game history.
For the time too. I mean, it looked really good.
I think we can go ahead and goat the cake from Portal. Whether or not it exists is still up for debate, but the best food of all time, at least through video games, the cake from Portal.
I think we should end it there. I think we've done a really good tier list. We have more, but you know what I would love to do maybe for another tier list in the future
What's
is to
that?
do anime foods. Because
Yeah.
I know I'm just itching now after seeing the video game ones.
When we get Adrian on the show,
Yes.
100% will.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. We're definitely going to do another tier list, possibly anime foods. I feel like we
We'll
could
do
do
that in the future.
in the
for sure.
future. That
Yeah.
would be fun.
I think when we have Adrian on,
Yeah.
he'd enjoy that.
But stick around. We still have one more segment coming up. Maybe Marcus's favorite segment of the day. We have post-market news with Samurai to make some predictions that will absolutely come true in the future.
Welcome to Postmarket News. This is the segment on the show where I postmark the news.
That's not.
Is that the-
Okay. Welcome to Post-market news. I'm Sydney,
I'm Marcus.
and this is Samurai
Mhm.
here to predict something for the future of video games.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I never learned how to read beyond the 3rd grade level. I was gaming too hard.
Shocked.
Yeah.
What's your prediction for today, Samurai?
Prediction today. Are real familiar with the gaming franchise Cooking Mama?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay. Are we fans of Cooking Mama?
We are.
Yeah. Have we all played Cooking Mama?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the peripheral they had for the 3DS where you could put Cooking Mama, like your DS, on the fridge
top. Oh,
and then like
yes.
use it like while you're cooking?
That's fun.
That was
It
nice.
was
That was
fun.
a good game.
Yeah.
Cooking Mama, excellent franchise. I think we are long overdue for a bit of a reboot, though. I mean, Cooking Mama has a ceiling, let's be honest. She's the mama, and she cooks. You make a couple of recipes. At some point, it's time for a new look.
Sure.
For a fresh
Yeah, we
look.
can. We can.
I'm behind
we
that.
can revamp Cooking Mama.
Mhm.
My prediction, and I've seen into the future and know it to be true, is that in the upcoming Cooking Mama game, Cooking Mama is going to break bad. And she's going to start cooking meth.
Oh boy.
She's going to start cooking meth.
Mm.
Stay with me. It's an elaborate process. It comes with a lot of steps. It would teach
True.
the children basic chemistry,
No,
which would be very enticing. Retain the E for everyone rating. Learn chemistry. Cooking Mama cooks methamphetamine and makes a lot of money.
This is like early internet when people discovered that like there were web pages about how to make bombs, and the internet was like, we have to actually not allow access to that for the public. So as much as I think this certainly would revamp Cooking Mama in a new direction with a new
Very
audience
new direction.
base,
Yeah.
I don't think it's good for children to learn how to make meth,
Right.
say, in their kitchens.
Why not?
Because drugs are bad, but only because meth specifically, very dangerous to make, very
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
A lot of explosions known to happen.
Well,
Yeah.
those are the stakes of the game. If you make it wrong, Cooking Mama explodes.
You die?
Well, yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to die in Cooking Mama.
That might bring the rating up to a E10.
It
I'm
could
gonna be
be an
honest with
E10.
you.
It could be
Yeah.
an
Okay,
E10.
all right. If it's E10, I feel like that's
I
okay.
mean, once you're 10 years old, you are ready to face the harsh realities of the world of making synthetic drugs in a laboratory.
Would Cooking Mama be reserved as a cook, or would she have to,
Is she the boss?
acquire the Suda,
Yeah.
I think
Sudafed, and all the?
I think it's you start doing one thing and then you work your way up the chain until
I
you're a
think-
king.
You got to build a drug empire. Do you know
Yeah.
to
I
crack
think
down on your
yes.
competitors?
I think she
Oh, I think
starts as
yes.
a cook because she has to learn the recipe.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you hire on people, and it's
Uh-huh.
like, are they being respectful
Yeah.
of you?
Uh-huh.
Are they scraping off some of the supply? And then you have to,
Uh-huh.
you know, have a sit down with them.
Yeah.
You got to
Yup,
get
yup.
bodyguards. I think this could be a real franchise game.
I'm gonna be honest. As a human being and contributing member of society,
Somewhat.
with an somewhat.
I kind of am. I
Yeah,
mean,
with an IQ above 90, I vote, stuff like that. I have to say, terrible idea. But as a gamer who enjoys a good dynamic experience, I'd play it.
As a proud capitalist, I am not one, but if I was,
Yeah.
I would also play it probably.
As a libertarian, I'm not going to admit I'm a libertarian on the internet. As a very heavily left-leaning libertarian, let's go there. Why not?
Yeah.
I am into it hesitantly.
I say, sprinkle a little crystal meth on top and let's see what happens.
I say
Yeah.
let's cook.
A little
Let's cook.
garnish.
Let's cook.
Let's cook.
Let's
Why
cook.
not?
Nothing wrong with cooking a little
Not
meth.
wrong. Everybody does it. Well, every once in a while.
Samurai, thank you so much for that. Clearly, a real, truthful prediction that will happen. I know you see it in your mind's eye. This has been Postmarket News, and this has been Next Level Play, your podcast for all things gaming and esports. Marcus,
We'll see you next time
say
for
goodbye.
more bold predictions, more special guests, and more fun. Maybe more samurai. Maybe.
All right, Samurai, now just read
I've seen the future. I know there'll be more samurai. Oh,
read the last line.
Thank
Sound it out.
You.
you for
Everyone.
and
There you go.
no, it's not.
Cut.